Okay, with it after 7 o'clock, we'll call the December 15th to the meeting. No, 13th, what is it?
13.
13th. And we'll set off the Pledge of Allegiance.
I got your chair.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So Lou, I just wanted to let everyone know that the Board of Selectmen are having a meeting this evening, so they take precedence, so we're not live on Gov, but we're on channel educational, the NACAM educational channel, Comcast 6 or Verizon 28, just FYI.
But it's being recorded.
It's
right?
being recorded,
Okay,
yes.
very good.
All right. Approval of minutes. Did anybody get to read them?
I read them, but I think, yeah.
I read them and everything was fine from my perspective that I saw.
Well,
Okay.
Do you have changes?
the Autran Ave, we had some missing information on the, was it Autran Ave EO?
Did we? On the motion. Oh, on the motion, right. I don't have any notes on that. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't have notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any notes on exactly who made the motion and who seconded on that
And it
one.
wasn't on,
There was no motion made on it to continue it for the video when I had sent Amy the link to review it.
Okay. Well, I guess what we could say is, because the attorney had asked for a continuance, because no one could make it to the meeting, the commission did agree, I mean, you were in agreement to push it to this meeting, so.
yeah, there's just missing information on the draft, so it should be revised to either say we took no action or, it-
Yep,
yeah.
I think, yeah. I mean, we received a letter asking for continuance, the commission took no action.
Yeah, I
It was,
can't, I can't,
it was an enforcement order that had not yet been ratified, correct?
It was a violation letter.
By letter, all right, so not even an enforcement order
Right.
yet. And we expected them at the meeting, they were unable to come, so it was continued, they asked to be heard tonight. So not really even a
Yeah.
continuance.
Right,
So, yeah, the issue was no action. There was no motion, no action, no vote, no nothing.
okay,
yeah, well, right, so let's just change the draft and approve it.
okay.
Otherwise, I reviewed it and it looked
Oh,
fine to me.
okay.
All right, so we're going to get to
Table
the
it.
next meeting, right? Can we
No, we'll
approve
talk
these
about-
minutes, or can
oh.
we-
No, I think we can approve them with that change. We can make that change.
So we have a motion.
Okay,
As
I move that
amended.
we approve the minutes for November 15th, 2023, with the change for the enforcement order for Autran Ave to reflect that the commission took no action on that enforcement order.
Okay.
Motion and a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
One abstention. I was not at the meeting, so I'm not going to vote on the minutes.
Okay.
Two abstentions.
Okay, COC 242-1313, request to withdraw.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, and that's unanimous. 242-1753, 247 Chickering Road, request to continue till January 24th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. 242-1862 Wye Hill.
All righty. The order was issued for the installation of post and rail fencing that aimed to deter pedestrians from migrating off the trails and out of the wetlands and out of the water. And parts of trails that were created were blocked off and replanted. Project's done, site is stable, signage is installed as required. Less fencing was installed due to escalating costs once the bids came in. And so the commission just required, photographic evidence of installation. And the plants are doing well, so we have no issues, and we recommend issuing a certificate of compliance.
Any questions, Joe?
No questions at all.
None.
No questions, sir.
No, well, you weren't here for any of these, but you're just sit here and enjoy the show.
Yes, enjoy the show.
Okay, motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
If you have a question, ask it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. 242-1827, 60 Campbell Road.
How's it going?
Good to see you.
Been a while?
All right, so this order issued in December of 2021, governed driveway and associated retaining wall work, shed installation, pervious paver patio install, and front landscaping and general lawn restoration. There was a simultaneous enforcement order that ran parallel with this order that governed restoration of rear slope that experienced unpermitted grading. The EO required full restoration of the pre-existing slope elevations, replanting and seeding, and construction of a 2x2 fieldstone wall at the top of the slope, and required that 75% overall survivorship of the plantings after true growing seasons. Slope restoration is a total success. Plants are doing well, totally stabilized. And all of the other work is completed, with the proposed patio being slightly smaller than previously approved. And Taylor and I had visited the site throughout the restoration, and we have no issues with this. Fieldstone wall is up, markers are in. So I would recommend you lift the enforcement order and issue a full and complete certificate of compliance.
Thank you. Any questions? Joe?
No questions, but I'll tell you, it's a real good job on the restoration, and the plants are thriving, looks excellent. Thank you.
No questions, though.
Al?
No questions.
You have any questions?
I'm good.
So first, we gotta, rescind the,
I'll move till we lift the enforcement order.
Second?
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
I'll move that we issue a COC as requested, as described by the administrator.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. All set, thank you.
All right, no talking
Take
policy.
care.
Have a good night.
Uh, 242-1857, 62 Bannon Drive.
So this order, issued in October of 2022, governed the upgrade of an existing failed septic system and installation of a new gravity system and monolithic septic tank and D-box. The new system is located just outside the 50-foot no-build zone to the wetlands, but some of the associated grading was in the 50. A site visit was conducted by staff. We approved removal of the erosion controls. Wetland markers are in. The system has received a COC from the health department. And so we would recommend issuing a full and complete certificate of compliance.
Joe, any questions?
No questions.
Jack?
None.
Al?
No question, sir.
I don't know who printed this, but loaned this with an
Oh, sorry. Instead of a
I have no questions.
weaving something.
I move that we issue a COC with ongoing conditions as prescribed in the order of conditions.
Second.
A. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
All right, so you're all set. I'll send that to you. You can get it recorded at the registry probably later this week or early next. I'm sorry. So I'll send you the certificate of compliance.
Okay.
It needs to get recorded at the registry. And then you just send me the book and page information, and we can process release of your bond.
Okay.
Okay?
Can I take the sign down now?
Oh, you can take the sign down now.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, next one is 242-1864, 42J Road.
All righty.
Ditto.
All righty. Okay, this order was issued in April of 2023, and it governed upgrading the existing failed septic system with a new gravity system, monolithic septic tank and D-box. The work occurred in the outer reaches of the 100-foot buffer zone at the front of the property. We visited the site in November, approved removal erosion controls. Site is totally stable. And the Board of Health issued their certificate of compliance, so we recommend issuing a full and complete COC.
Joe?
I have no questions.
Jack?
No questions.
Al?
No questions. Move that we issue a COC with ongoing conditions as prescribed in the order of conditions.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, and that's unanimous. RDA 45 Holly Tree Land.
All righty. At the last meeting, the commission requested more information on septic, propane tank setbacks. And we received confirmation from both the building inspector and the contractor that propane tank valves need to be at least 10 feet, but can be greater than 10 feet from any source of ignition or intake or vent appliance, and at least 5 feet from any windows or crawl space openings. And the tanks also need to be 10 feet away from where vehicles run or are started or shut off, that is, as that is a potential ignition source. They provided you with an updated alternatives analysis, and in this instance, the staff agrees that the chosen location makes the most sense because all the other locations would require a lot more trenching for connection, and we don't think that positioning the tanks off the side of the driveway is advisable or safe. And so the area in question is basically lawn, and it's, up against the house in the corner. So the homeowner's here this evening if you have questions for him, but I'd recommend closing the hearing, approving the waiver, and I do have conditions that would require some plantings in front of wetland flags A1 and A2, and then monumenting that as mitigation.
Thank you. Joe?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, what we had at the last meeting was a request for a waiver with a alternatives analysis that was based on hearsay. We didn't have any backup for it, but now we do. So that's what we were looking for. So thank you. I'm all set.
What's the size of the tanks?
The tanks are
120 gallons
Each?
each.
Yep. I have no other questions.
Yeah?
I have no questions.
I just have one. Okay, I was looking at you, about the capacity, on the drawing, it shows, I saw 2,000 gallon, and then 500 gallons, like, oh, it's a lot of propane.
Right. So that's just an illustration from
Yeah.
the supplier?
Yeah, I have no questions. Sean, you're gonna abstain?
I'm going to abstain since I walked into this hearing late.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the waiver request as requested.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's
I
unanimous.
further,
One
I
abstention.
further move that we issue a negative determination, a -3 determination with the following conditions. The applicant shall install not less than 4 native shrubs within lawn between wetland flags 1A and 2A, and a wetland post be installed in front of the plantings to be left to naturalize. Conservation Department will provide a species list from which to choose. A post-construction inspection with the Conservation Department to verify compliance with the approved project and planting and installation.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
Sorry.
One abstention.
You're all
Thank
set.
you, well said.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next one. RDA 40 Duncan Drive.
How are you?
All right. So this RDA comes a little after the fact due to extenuating circumstances and timing where the system needed to go in before the septic system season closed out. And the property is undergoing transaction and the seller needed to be out of the house by the end of November. So in consultation with the chairman, he authorized issuing an enforcement order that allowed the work to start, provided that all pre-construction requirements were met and a pre-construction meeting was held with me, and that after the fact, RDA be filed. So you can see from the plan that the leaching field is completely out of the buffer zone, with just the new tanks between 50 and 100, and they're about 60 feet from the wetland. So the system was in failure. So the chair thought it more prudent to fix a failing system that's so close to the wetland and the pond, lost pond, to get that going instead of missing a window before the season closed. So the work is done. It has been monitored. It's been in compliance. There's been no issues with erosion or anything like that. And so that's basically where we're at. I don't know if you want to add anything to Peter.
No, Tim Breen texted me about an hour or so
Oh.
ago, and he said, please tell him I'm sorry, I can't make it.
Okay.
My wife got stuck at work, and he's
Oh,
got a 2-year-old.
okay,
So
all right.
anyways, he wanted to come here, but,
Okay.
you know, we've all been there.
That's okay, we have what we need already, right? You have any questions, Joe?
I have no questions.
Jack?
Was everything done according to what's
Yep.
portrayed on
And,
the
yeah, and they
print?
received their certificate of compliance from Board of Health.
Erosion
so-
control still in place?
Yes, yeah,
I have
so
no
I-
other questions.
right.
No questions, Jim.
No questions, except this is why we make the big bucks, to make these calls. Nice job.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we lift the enforcement order.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
And I also move that we increase the chairman's stipend by tenfold to making these serious decisions.
That's a big jump.
No second? Sorry.
Second.
Tried. No, it failed on the first
I
call,
make enough
sorry.
money anyway, I don't need-
He gets nothing.
Mr. Chairman, I further move that we close the hearing and issue a -3 with the following conditions. The existing erosion control shall be maintained and not removed until the department provides its approval upon satisfactory stabilization. Erosion control monitoring shall continue after rain events of 1 inch or greater until such time that the Conservation Department approves the cessation of the erosion controls.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Thank you. You're all set?
I'm not going anywhere. You got me next.
I get you again?
Don't expect it to go this smoothly the second
You're
time.
finally gonna get, no, I think we are. You're finally gonna get rid of us for a while.
We didn't check if there was anyone from the public for that hearing.
For the what?
Was there anyone here for 40 Duncan? Okay, all right. Just want to make sure.
We'd have to deduct your salary if you get to ask.
All right, so next one is a general business, and on ORAD request for extension for Brook School.
All righty,
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to 0 Turnpike Street next.
oh yeah, no, we're gonna do.
I'm gonna go back there.
Which other one do you have?
We,
Which other one do you have?
Continuation Turnpike Street.
We got a notice of intent down towards the end.
Yeah,
Okay,
we got
yeah.
a few.
or the revised.
You know, we know you're special, but you can go sit back with me.
Sorry, Peter, we did the,
I'm not going anywhere.
All right.
order of things a little bit differently. Sorry about that.
We're on the we're on the ORAD right now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I may have given him the wrong one. All right. What am I doing? Is this Brook School or Great Pond Road? Gee, okay, here it is. All righty. So in December of 2019, the commission issued an ORAD for sections of the Brook School campus and their land, and some of their land holdings across Great Pond Road. It was a lengthy line, it was about 12,800 linear feet. The flags were refreshed this fall, and Justine and I walked the delineation with the wetland consultant, made some minor adjustments to some of the flags, but in our opinion, it didn't impact, it wasn't really that meaningful. It was just some micro topography that tripped us up last time, that we just kind of dug a few holes and scooched things closer to the roadway. It's really mostly along the frontage of Great Pond Road. And just one thing I wanted to kind of point out, that in walking the hilly part on the opposite side of the campus, the big hilly part, those soils are very tight. There's a silt component, and it's very classic hard compact till drumlin. So construction phase, we should be really diligent about how they manage that site, because the soils are just, you know, they just whoosh. So
Not the end of a clay.
just something, I just wanted to, you know, get that in your mind.
It's not clay, it's till, right? It's more like till?
It's till, yeah, but it's got a
So it's
silt,
the
a
fines
silty,
mixed
yeah,
with the
it's
gravel and
really,
stuff.
yeah, so it's the kind that, like, you compress it and it's like, so. That's,
Yeah, I know.
You like
These
that?
technical terms
That's a
might be
technical-
confusing the public.
Did you learn that in soil school?
I did.
She did that, I said North Andover States.
That's what I meant, that same material. Yeah.
So- anyway.
Pinkly loamy soils with glacial till
Very,
mixed.
yeah, it's very compacted.
Yeah, good,
so
good
it's
stuff.
When it's dry,
On steep slopes.
On stuff.
On steep
when it's
slopes,
dry,
slope,
it's
on the
like
steep slope.
dynamite. When
Yeah.
it's wet, it's
Right.
mud.
Okay, let's move on.
so I recommend just approving those minor adjustments to the flags and then granting a 1-year extension.
So help me with the administration. Remember the RDAs used to be good for 3 years? And you
Yeah.
could now extend them.
Yes.
ORADs, what's
It's
the
the same thing, and this
3
was-
plus only 1 extension, or?
No, would get the two
you can get
years,
2
1 year at a
extensions?
time.
So not more, it's only good for, not more than 5 years?
Right, and this happened during COVID, so it got some COVID tolling too. And it actually expires in March, but, you know, per the COVID,
Okay.
but, so
So again,
they want to
the soil
exercise.
situation is just remember it when an actual
Yes,
project comes in. Right now,
exactly.
we're just
No,
approving the
it's-
line, and it's what it is.
Exactly, but
I'm all
just
set.
something to keep in mind.
Jack?
Yeah, is that a bylaw provision, the two extensions, similar to, it's a bylaw?
It's a bylaw.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think under the state, you could do 3 years
Okay.
at a time,
I'm fine.
so.
No questions, no other questions.
Yeah.
No questions?
John?
No questions?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minor flag adjustments and grant the one-year extension.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Enforcement order, no, we approved 60 Campbell Woods, that's all set. 85
Yeah, we-
Flagship Drive.
Alrighty. Alrighty.
What was the circumstance with 60 Campbell? Is it heard later on, or?
No, we already
heard it.
lifted
We
it.
heard it early and lifted it, got it.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Okay, so Commission will recall, this property is downstream from 40 Flagship and received the brunt of the wetland impact from the sediment runoff during the summer of 2021. The owner of 85 Flagship is coming forward to actually do the removal and restoration of the sediment. They hired North Environmental, who was already familiar with the problem. They provided this removal and restoration report. Unfortunately, the owner and Norse could not be here due to scheduling conflicts, but they really, really wanted this to come before the commission tonight. If at all possible that you guys were comfortable approving it under an enforcement order, which the commission did indicate prior that we'd be willing to look at that, allow that work to happen under enforcement order. So they're also asking, I don't think they necessarily need permission, but they kind of want to just make sure it's out in the open, that they want to do some O&M on their stormwater management BMPs out there. And I researched the previous order that has received a certificate of compliance that allows for parking lot sweeping, obviously, catch basin cleaning, and swale maintenance at least once per year. And so they provided an O&M plan for that, that's attached to your packet. So they're intending to do that maintenance out there for that. So
Yes, sir.
the restoration report outlines kind of where the most heavily sedimented areas of that wetland are. Stating that it's about, in any given area, it's the maximum of 4 inches, and then it peters out. So that she's proposing to do this all by hand. I mean, the contractors to do it by hand, to remove the worst of the load, the sediment load, and then restore with wetland seed mix.
Yeah, thank you for the recap. I understand the circumstances, but I want to make sure I get it right. 40 Flagship had a problem unto themselves. They caused a downstream disturbance to several properties, this being one of them.
Yeah. This being the worst.
These people, knowing that they themselves didn't cause it, still have run the gambit trying to chase the other guy. Nothing's happening there,
We have.
including on our end.
Yep.
So they are voluntarily coming forward.
Yes,
to make the restoration.
yes.
They didn't cause it, it's on their property, so that's why we're even considering this work under an enforcement order. Because otherwise it would be
Yes.
an RDA, it would be a NOI,
Right.
so. Part of me says it's an NOI, but the other part of me says they're doing the right thing because the other guy wouldn't, and this guy didn't cause any of it.
Right.
Does this cross that line between?
Well, I think.
I think it seems like it makes sense, but it's also clearly way beyond a typical.
Yeah, but I think we would have been prepared to issue an enforcement order to 40 Flagship to do the work.
But we have
I-
asked them to
I'm-
file it under an NOI.
An NOI for their site, and we were going to keep this restoration under an enforcement action so that it doesn't have to go through the bureaucracy of an NOI.
And again, voluntarily, on their own, not
That's right,
responsible. The EO seems to be the fastest way to do it, but is it the right way to do it?
But this is
in
just
order-
for O&M.
No.
No, it's restoration, too.
They're two different things, just two
Okay,
different
yeah.
things they wanted to
Yeah, so I
bring
mean,
to you, but.
so again, I think because it's so unique, an enforcement order is correct, but we gotta be really careful that there's enough conditions that it almost looks like an order of conditions.
Yeah, I understand.
That ultimately has to get lifted at the end anyway.
Right, exactly.
Okay, I'm clear of the procedure then.
Yeah.
We have no questions other than that.
Yeah, I have no other questions either. If they're only replanting with seed mix, is that the extent of it?
Yep.
I think 1 year would be appropriate. I have no other questions.
Thank you.
I have no questions, I'm good with this proposal.
I am too. Sean?
I am as well.
I move the following, that we acknowledge and approve the implementation of the operations and management O&M plan, that we issue an enforcement order that approves the wetland restoration plan with the following conditions. All restoration work shall be directly overseen by the wetland consultant, pre-construction meeting with the conservation staff contractor and wetland consultant. Invoice for wetland seed mix to be provided prior to spreading. I think 1 year of monitoring with a final report to ensure 75% of overall coverage.
Second.
On discussion, do we have, I know a lot of this area out there is mapped floodplain. Do we know if we've lost any flood storage through the accumulation of all the silt that washed down? And should they not just be seeding it, should they actually be dredging it? Should somebody be dredging it?
Well, they're going to remove the worst of it.
My
The for-
my question is, if it's floodplain
Yeah,
that was there,
Yeah.
storage for flooded water.
Yeah.
And we've lost it because of soils that migrated down and filled all those areas in, we've lost volume, storage volume.
yeah.
Should we not be expecting that somebody restore the floodplain that was disturbed?
I think we will be
They're removing
by removing,
the silt.
But do we know how much they're removing? Are we telling
oh,
them to
you mean
move it down to what,
volume.
the evidence
Oh,
of
yes,
original?
Yes. Let me just, it's in here, I know she said this.
As long as they're removing the silted material down to what is
That's
the
exactly-
horizon, evidence of horizon of the original
Yes.
grade, then we're getting that back.
So she said, I'm proposing to restore approximately 360 square feet of wetland near the head wall and culvert. Let's see. So she said, the proposed restoration shall be performed during dry conditions to adequately remove the sediment to the original topsoil. And it's obvious, when you auger down, you're gonna see the difference in the soil color, and you're gonna know when you hit the native soils.
But in 360 square feet?
360 square feet.
But it seems like the disturbed area is a heck of a lot bigger than that.
Well,
Is it-
that's based on her augering of the thickness of the sediment that got deposited. And once you get beyond that, I mean, you're probably going to start scraping up the original soils if you start to get that little layer out of sediment. So, and you're going to disturb other vegetation that's growing fine, that's
So
skunk cabbages.
make sure I understand it clearly. Whatever silt came from the other site onto this,
Yes,
all of it will be removed under this proposal, down to the original grade and restored. Not just a certain, not just a small area that they need to have
No,
done.
that's not what she's saying.
That's what I didn't think she was saying.
Right.
So why are we
But-
not getting it all?
But at
taken out?
that point, I think what she's saying is that, so there's sediment that's 4 inches, 3.5 inches, 4.5 inches, and it's in that 360 square foot area. And then from there, it thins out a lot. And to remove it, you're gonna be probably scraping up vegetation and native soils with it.
So I want to be careful that if we're doing an EO under the terms that we just talked about,
Right.
that we don't remove any obligation from the guilty, for the infracting, the guy causing the problem.
Yeah.
That if there is still additional work on this property, that he is still responsible in the longer run. If these people are asking only to do that, then we may consider that on their own. But it may not be all the work, that I still want, 40 Flagship to be responsible for it. Somehow we can say that in this decision.
Okay.
If there is more work to be done because of that, that he's still responsible for it. This guy's gracious enough to take on some of it, but not all of it. That's what I want to make sure we're clear on.
I appreciate your point on that, right? 360, that's 36 by 10,
That's nothing.
right? That's not a lot, and there's probably a lot more that needs to be done out there, so I'm with Joe, where I think you need to have something in that enforcement order that says this enforcement order is not limiting other actions that the Conservation Commission may request that 40 Flagship do as a result of
Okay.
the situation.
I amend to add
Okay.
to my motion, please.
Okay.
Right, yeah, because we still got the 2 other people too.
Yeah, but if we do this and that's all we did, and then all of a sudden we tell them to do more later, they'd be like, well, you gave us an enforcement order before, we abided by it, why didn't you put it all in one enforcement
And
order?
I would also like to add that the final determination shall be made by you upon a field inspection.
Okay.
You're going to have the final say.
For curiosity, in the packet submitted, why is all the marketing for 40 Flagship in here?
I just wanted to let you know it's on the market.
That it's on the, thank you.
In
Just
case you want to buy it,
FYI.
Joe, it's a bargain.
You kidding me? It's a non-compliant site. I would never buy
It's a
it.
bargain at any price.
How about that? It's Disney World in the making.
That's right.
Just FYI. It was just
Thank you.
FYI.
Might be damaged goods, though.
All right, so.
So
my-
you moved to amend to include Sean's.
I amended to add Sean's language and to add the sentence that you
Okay.
have the final determination as to volume, area, and capacity
Okay.
And
of
I did-
restoration.
And I did misspeak, I meant to say that 85 still may be obligated to do more.
Oh,
Obviously,
80.
40 could too, but specifically 85.
Oh.
Yeah, we have to be realistic about this. We can issue an order to 40 Flagship till hell freezes over.
It's a waste of paper.
It's not gonna be complied with. So, let's
So
be
you want me to-
realistic about
So
it.
do you want me to include, to say it doesn't preclude 85 Flagship from having to do additional work or 40 Flagship?
Well, this is just, I would not even bring 40
Okay,
flagship
all right.
into
I
this.
didn't know. I just want to make sure.
Yep, no, that's why I wanted to clarify what I said before.
All
I
right.
got my flagships confused.
No, we're just saying, we're saying
Many
that
flagships.
if the inspection determines that the
Yes.
area is greater than proposed, they're responsible for it, if it's on their property. And that you have the ultimate final decision as to the area and the capacity.
Okay.
Under a future action. Not a, this enforcement order is just what they're asking for.
Yep.
But we want to be clear, there may be more, but you also have to apply for something to do more. You just
Okay.
can't go, you just can't make your area bigger.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay? All right, so we have a motion and a second, right? We have
We
to
do.
take a vote.
Motion and second as amended.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Next one is 242
Abstain?
1859 Zero Turnpike. No, gentleman behind you.
What is it?
What are we doing?
Zero Turnpike.
Zero
I
Turnpike.
don't have
It's the enforcement order, and we'll do the NOI while we've got them up sitting there.
I don't know if I have zero turnpike.
This is just, we continue because we didn't have an order written, so the proposal tonight. So that's all there is.
I don't have Zero Turnpike.
None of us do anything.
What?
We don't have Zero Turnpike.
We continued only because we didn't have enough time to have a
You have
draft order, right?
decisions.
Right, right.
Yeah, we're just closing tonight,
You have a
right?
decision.
Yeah.
That's what you were waiting
So you
for.
just want us to close it?
So move.
Yeah, I mean, there was no request for anything.
We're ready for the decision on that one, so we can close it.
Motion to close?
Move to close.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Okay.
What we should have done was, there's an outstanding
Yeah, enforcement order.
enforcement order, which doesn't matter. Yeah, there is an outstanding enforcement order.
So, I think the order of conditions can take the place of the enforcement order now.
We kept the
They
enforcement
have
order.
a SWIP in place, which they're
Can we just
required,
lift it?
I mean,
Can we lift it at the time we deliberate the decision?
No, just do it now.
Okay.
The enforcement order required them to file, come before us and do certain things. They've been in compliance right up till they filed, but we didn't want to close it out until this was ready.
right.
So we
Until
really,
we had
so we
another
really,
instrument
we're ready to close it
to
out.
regulate them.
All right, so we need a motion to lift.
I just made that motion. I'm
Second, second
All
your
those in
motion.
favor say aye.
sorry. Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. And we didn't vote on the,
Quick draw.
did we vote on the NOI? We all set with that?
We just did that.
You just closed it.
You
Yeah.
vote to
Okay, so we're good.
close.
Have a good night.
All right, thanks, Peter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, enforcement order, 863 Winter Street.
What are you doing? Oh, okay. I'm all screwed up. I'm not used to this. Okay, at the last hearing, the commission wanted me to draft up an enforcement order to make sure we got all of the points. So we can review that.
There's one thing that, at least one thing, in my opinion, that's silent in here.
Okay.
And I'm not even sure it's necessary, but
Alright.
let's talk about it.
Yep.
Is, we've had a situation where this has strung along for an awful long time. Mm-hmm. And we, with much debate amongst the commission itself, even moving forward to string it along through next spring, some of us agreed and didn't agree that that made sense. But we're putting them in good faith, putting good faith in them, that they actually do these things
Yep.
on time. Should we make some reference to a fine of so much per day exists as of a certain day, and failure to meet any one of the deadlines would make the fine go effective back to that effective date? Just as a club hanging out there to make sure that they don't miss these dates again. I just wonder if that makes sense.
I'm 100% in agreement with that, because this has been going on way too long, and I voted against it, so you know how I feel about it.
I don't want to rehash the old arguments.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
not saying anything, I'm just saying, I think
But,
fines.
but I think these we really gave them a lot of line to go out and push this thing out even further, but boy, oh boy, these are sacred dates, and if they don't hit them, there needs to be some sort of penalty.
We have the option, when and if that happens, to take action at that time.
But I don't want the fine to be effective that date, I want it to be effective sooner, you know.
That would be your argument on that day. You can't I mean, I don't think we should be anticipating failure here.
Well, we can add a provision that the commission, if this deadline is not complied with, the commission will,
We're not waiving our rights to fine. We could say that.
well,
but
yeah, I mean, I say it, I know.
Already.
I already say it in my,
And what
I guess the difference is if they miss that May 31st date, and the very next meeting in June, we say you missed the date, $125 a day fine, whatever the number is,
Yeah.
whatever the fine is for that day. I'd rather say it's effective tonight. However, you hit these dates, that fine never comes into effect. If you do miss the date, it's gonna be 180 days, starting today. And that way, they won't miss the date. That's what I'm saying.
You want them to be retroactive back to now?
Set the fine, put a fine in place today, and toll that fine so long as the deadlines are met.
I think that's a good.
Only because they've strung us along, and we really did kind of,
I'm not sure we can.
I'd rather fight the argument that we couldn't on the day we put the fine in place than to say in July, boy, I wish we did it.
Make the motion.
well, why don't we,
Let's make the motion and
why
move
don't we
on.
say $100 a day for every day past May
No,
31st?
I understand what Joe's point is. He's,
Well, I have a question about
Money equals
that,
compliance.
about the date.
money equals compliance, I
That's right.
agree. Yeah,
The first lesson I learned,
No, listen,
You're the only one.
maybe the only one.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
All right,
Amy, item number 4 says, "No later than May 31st, 2024, with assistance from your wetland consultant, you shall implement the approved restoration plan and adhere to the following conditions." Does that mean they have to start by May 31st or be complete by?
Actually, no, wait a minute, that's,
We probably want to
You shall.
clarify that.
complete, the rest, let's say this, I didn't mean to say that, I'm sorry. The approved restoration plan shall be fully executed by May 31st, 2024.
I thought that's what we discussed last time.
Sorry, yes. Sorry.
So the simple phrase, completed, strike the word implement and say completed.
Yep, I think that's a good word.
Yes.
Complete the approved restoration plan.
Complete.
Complete. So complete in full, you,
Final.
Fully complete.
yeah, there we go.
okay. So what we're doing is the fines will be retroactive to today if the guideline dates aren't met. Is that
Let me,
your proposal?
Joe had a
So,
motion.
yeah, my proposal is that we institute a fine of $100 a day commencing, tomorrow is the 14th of December, and that the fine shall be tolled so long as each of the dates specified herein are met. However, if they are not met, the full fine is due, payable and due and payable.
Deadline.
Is that your motion?
That is my motion.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
So that goes in as an amendment.
Yep.
Okay, so that, okay. So voting to approve with that amendment, all right.
All right. Next one is 49 Court Street.
49 Court Street. I received communication from the homeowner today. She actually submitted to DEP her notice of intent, but was unaware that there was local filing requirements as well. So, So-
The NOI's been filed.
so she asked for a continuance to the January 10th meeting. She couldn't make it tonight. And I told her to coordinate with her wetland consultant. I gave her the checklist, the local checklist. I said, you got a lot more stuff to do. And I said, I don't know, we'd like to see it, if you could get it together. The next deadline is the 28th of December. And I said, you need to follow all of this to have a complete filing with us.
So they're coming next meeting, January, with something. Okay. Hopefully, we should be able to get the NOI.
Well,
Yeah.
they submitted an NOI to DEP.
To DEP,
Yeah.
but not the local.
Okay. So that should be pretty easy for them to get. They must have a copy of it.
If it's complete, yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, because we have more
Okay.
materials.
Well, at least we're getting some activity. Okay, so we're
More
gonna.
importantly is that situation's been through several serious rainstorms. It
It's-
hasn't worsened.
No, the slope is stable and vegetated.
Who is she working with? Consultant?
Sergio Bonilla,
Oh, right, Bonilla, right,
That
that's
guy
right.
was pretty good.
He's very good. So what is it, continue to what?
January 10th.
So move.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Glad she's doing something.
Next one is 40 Duncan Drive.
So, did we vote to lift that with the RDA?
We already did, okay, did we?
Did we?
Do we need to lift that one too?
Yeah, we did, we already did.
Did, it's part of that.
Yep.
That's right. Okay, next one is 74 Orchard Ave.
Okay. So, we provided you a copy with our violation letter. In mid-September, there were reports of, flooding from the August events and from some September events of that stream that runs between Autran Ave and Heritage Green condos. There was some video evidence submitted to us by someone that lives at Heritage Green, of landscapers that were working at 74 Autran, that were using a ladder to climb up and down the fence to deposit their cut storm debris on the stream side of Heritage Green. And so, conservation staff did do a site visit. We provided the Heritage Green condos with a letter that allowed them to remove that superficial debris and trash, which we're not saying the trash is from 74 Autran, but we know that some of the storm damaged woody debris was. So it wasn't the main source of blockage for that stream, but it definitely exacerbated things in that specific area. So it's a beleaguered stream in the middle of, two residential areas. The homeowners here this evening from 74 Autran, if you want to first talk about perhaps their contractors' activity with dumping their cut debris on Heritage Green property, you can do that, or if you'd like to address the commission, you're welcome to do that.
This is a very unusual application. How are we going about this? To pick up the debris, they'd be
Let me set
trespassing.
the tone.
Huh?
Let me set the tone.
Okay, fire away.
So first and foremost, what I see here is a trespass matter between two abutting neighbors, not conservation.
Okay.
Because of the trespass, we believe somehow it contributed to violation of the wetland by throwing vegetation, debris, trash, unneighborly things over a fence, some of which may have come from 74, some probably may not have. It's not maybe unique to this one location, but it's on the property, and so typically from a conservation perspective, we go after the property owner, condo association. They brought it to us, and we've given them permission, as if it were them, to go in and clean it up to the best they could. what I find is we're in a real hard position to say, be neighborly, stop throwing crap over the fence. That's crazy. Who would do that? If it was you, your contractors, your friends, your landscaper, whoever, nobody throws stuff over a fence. That's just unneighborly. And I'm not gonna speak to the legal issue, but I think there's a responsibility of cleaning some of this up in the brook itself. And whether that's already been done or not, I don't know. But I think we're hard pressed to tell a trespassing neighbor to go onto somebody
No, I-
else's
yeah,
property to
I-
clean it up.
Yeah,
Because how the hell do we order that? I think it really needs to be, we tell the condo association, you gotta clean it up, and let the condo association work it out with them and how it gets cleaned up. Because I don't think it's us to tell the neighbor to trespass.
understood.
If it were me, not a conservation member, I would, as a member of the conservation, as a member of the condo association, clean it up and throw it back over the fence. But I wouldn't do that as a commissioner. That's all. I'm done.
Okay. Jack?
I think our interest here is that the stream be cleaned up, that the foreign material be removed. Typically, we do deal with the property owners to make that happen. It's probably appropriate for us to do that in this case, too. That's my opinion. Let them deal with any trespassing that may have happened and caused the violation. That's all I have.
So the stream is on property owned by the condo association?
Yes.
The debris came over the fence from...
Autran Ave.
From Autran Avenue. I agree with my brothers here. We should order or permit the condo association to clean and maintain the stream, and have them communicate through legal means with the abutter.
I mean, we
Because-
did, I mean, we said, go ahead and clean it up, because they were.
But I mean, as far as enforcement goes, we can't,
Okay.
I agree, we can't order the neighbor to go back over the fence. We can't,
No, I
that's,
get it,
yeah, it's just something we can't do.
no, I understand.
Now, should the condo association give the neighbor permission to go in and clean it up in lieu of legal action, that's not a problem. That's something they can work out
It's between them,
between them.
not with us.
Yeah, we have nothing.
And that's my humble opinion.
I just want to have, what, did you authorize these guys to do this, or you just did, you let them, or did you do it on your own? What was the mindset for something
No,
like this?
the storm caused a lot of trees to fall. So the tree came from their side, it fell over our fence, and then it was the tree, the trunks, everything was still on their side. So in order to safely get the tree down, they had to climb ladders in order to cut the tree that came from the condos association side off our shed in order to remove the tree. So all the tree was gone. So I don't even see the evidence of us leaving the tree there. So I think it was just a lady that was taking a picture, and she just wanted to be, I don't know, maybe too much time on her hands. And but we hired people to take that tree off our shed. In order to do that, the trunk of the tree couldn't stay on the on top of the gate, on top of the fence, which is damaged. So that's where this whole thing come from. When we moved to this house, we noticed the trash over there already, so that's why we even put a white fence. If you look at, I don't know if the picture shows it, but there's a metal fence and there's a white fence. We put the white fence up to cover all that stuff. So, and the tree, there's been two instances where a tree has fallen over the fence and damaged it, and we never reported anything. The only thing I ever reported was the poison ivy, because I have a 6-year-old daughter. She's always running in the backyard, and poison ivy from the other side go over the fence, and then she grabbed this, and she's very allergic. She's autistic, so she's allergic to a lot of things, and that's the only thing I asked them to clean, but they never did. So all of a sudden now, someone from there, they decided to take a picture whenever this is happening and present it to you folks. But then again, there's a dumpster, there's a red dumpster, and here they say it's require 100 foot. There's a dumpster less than 8 foot with trash, nipsies, or all these things right on the stream, right there.
It's on pavement.
So, but no one else will
On
report that, but
Heritage
we
Street.
trying to get the tree branch off the fence and off our shed. That's when people want to take pictures and reported it, but then they never want to report all the stuff that's in the stream itself right now. You know, so,
Can I inquire? Do you have landscapers that work for you, or would the report of landscapers just have been the people that were
no,
removing the tree?
this the folks that we just hired just one time to just remove the tree off the shed.
So you don't have regular people that dump over the fence all the time?
No, we have a landscaper that does it, but there's no dumping. It's just cut the grass and then they take everything away from with their truck, with their business truck. So
So
I don't
they-
even know where it's.
Yeah, so their view of the branch thing was when the tree came down onto your side, you had somebody come in to cut it and get rid of it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Sean?
My thought is this is analogous to other things we've had in front of us, such as the oil spill, where it wasn't, it landed up on town property, but it wasn't, we still went after the person that was responsible for the oil that put it there. I also think this is similar to 40 and 85 flagship, right? I mean, we wanted 85 to clean up 40, and we're not having much luck with that. So I do think we look outside of the property owner where the debris is for responsibility. So, I know that throws a wrench in a little bit into what everybody else was saying earlier.
Actually, the flagship, I think, is exactly what I was talking about, because we went after those property owners and told them to clean it up, in the hopes that we would get them to, go after the responsible party. We actually went after the property, the individual
Responsible
landowners.
party as well.
What?
We also went after the responsible party, well, the cause, the
Initially,
The
you're right.
we did, and we couldn't get blood from that stone, so then we went after the individuals.
You're right,
And
you're
I
right.
think this is, just different facts, but with the same overall situation.
Okay, so you've had communication with the Heritage, so that's it's Heritage, right?
Yeah, Heritage Green
There's
condos.
nothing we can do about what he said. It's gonna be up
I
to
mean, they
him.
did remove it. I mean,
Well, he can if Heritage does, lets him.
yeah.
but I don't
But I
think-
mean, Heritage Green asked, can we remove it right now? We can't wait because we don't want enough flooding events. We're like, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
And has that already been done?
yes.
Yep. What about the issue about the sediment and the lack of flow and capacity in that
Well,
stream there?
that's sort of a larger discussion, which we don't necessarily have to get into right now, but
Okay.
it's a urban stream, subject to a lot of sedimentation and a lot of abuse in people's backyards, and,
It's not to the very end of Autran, where it meets the old brook at Wood Road, the old Wood Road, is where it really starts taking on a volume.
Yeah, 'cause they fixed it.
Remember the blowout at the very end?
Yeah.
Where the two converged?
Yeah.
That was behind the old Rennie
Old
site?
Woodlawn.
Yeah, the old Rennie site.
Okay.
Okay.
Amy, you had listed several items of debris, including landscaping debris and
Mhm.
down branches. But there were other things listed as plastic
Right.
from potted plants and construction equipment
Right.
and rebar and wooden
Yeah.
panels. Has
Right.
that all been removed, or or did they just?
I actually have to check with Justine, because she's the one that's been managing this more than I have. She's been out there.
Mhm.
So I will have her do a follow-up site inspection to ensure that's been removed.
Okay. It's preferable that.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
We should have ordered all of that to be removed.
Yeah.
But,
yep.
sometimes we don't
We
get
didn't know
that
it was
detail.
there. We didn't know.
It was under the branches.
They just said, can we
We
clean up
wanted
the
nothing,
branches?
all we have is a violation notice, correct? We don't have an
Right,
enforcement action.
no.
All this is a violation notice.
Right. I mean, we did, in our letter to Heritage Green, she pointed out all the materials.
So has Heritage Green been given permission to clean it up?
Yeah.
Do they,
Already
do they
did.
want permission, or do they need an
They
enforcement order?
asked for permission, we gave it to them already.
Okay, and it's done?
Yeah, and I'll have Justine triple check.
Okay. Okay, so,
Okay.
So we're all set, so take no action.
so no action is required at this
Right.
time?
Okay.
Did you have anything else, sir?
No, I think you folks mentioned that there's my house is also being flooded by whatever debris that's remained in the stream, so, if that makes any sense at all, so.
It's a tough situation because the stream is on Heritage Green property, almost all of it. So,
So if tree branches come over to your side, your property from the other side, you shouldn't throw them back.
No, there was never anything thrown over there. We never throw anything over there. It was just, we had to, in order to get the branches off the shed, ladders had to be climbed, because the branch was so heavy, it had to be climbed in order to cut it off and get rid of it. But I still don't believe that the contractors left those things there, because even with the evidence that they have in terms of there's ladders and but there's no evidence of us leaving, or the contractors or the people that was cutting the trees leaving those debris there. So, because all those things was taken away the very same day, so I just don't understand how we are being put here in this situation for us to be responsible for trash that's been accumulated in that property for many, many, many years. And all of a sudden, it's just someone that lives there decided to take a picture and then submit it, and then now we fall into the situation where we have to be held responsible for all the debris and garbage that's there. Like I said, there's a dumpster currently there right now that's less than 8 foot from that stream. And if you look around that dumpster, there are all kind of stuff, bottles, everything from that. Who knows, whenever that truck come and lift it up, things are falling into the stream. So I just don't understand how I end up here to be responsible for something that we didn't create in the first place.
well, we're not saying you're responsible for the trash.
But that's what
Never said
that's
that.
what it's almost saying in this report, in
Well,
this paper here.
That's
why I
not,
want to be
yeah,
real
that's
careful
not
that, you know,
accurate.
all we have is anecdotal information and photographs from one source. And it's all, to me, it's all hearsay. Let them sort it out between themselves. If the association wants to clean up the brook and do things on their own volition, because it's right, we will work with them and give them permission. If they want to solicit volunteers from the neighborhood, even the next neighborhood over, that's up to them to do it. I don't want to get in the middle of it. I don't know who did what, who didn't do what.
Right.
We don't have any iron in this fire.
Well, we have a violation letter that went out to 74 Outram Ave, so that's why he's here.
Right.
So at the end of the day, what do we tell this gentleman?
So, if I may ask a quick question, in the report it says pile of dumping from 74 Orchard Ave on Heritage Green property, and then there's, it has the picture there. What is the evidence? Is it simply, as he said, the picture taken and the video? And in the video, is it, you actually see?
Do you want me to play it?
No, I just want
It's
to
just-
want to know, does it show people throwing it over, or does it just show people?
It looked like it.
It does, okay,
I
that's all. I
mean, we
wanted.
did
Because
see
with the-
some fresh cut stuff when
Yep.
we went out there, okay?
So there's more
Yeah,
than
but
just
the
a
plastic
picture of
It
a ladder.
wasn't humongous, it wasn't like huge,
Pallet and all that
it
stuff.
was,
That probably came
branches.
from the dump- It probably came from the
So,
dumpster.
Yeah, the pots,
anyway.
that's kind of a stretch. Well, like I said, that'll be.
All right, in the interest of not spending the whole night on
Yeah.
this, I think we have to give Mr. LaFleur, that's your last name?
Yes.
LaFleur. We have to give Mr. LaFleur some direction or not.
Well,
I think he responded to a violation notice.
yeah, I
It-
mean, I think it's.
It appears that we all agree that the condo association is going to clean the stream up,
Yep.
and we're not taking any further action
Right.
against,
No, there's no action to take.
oh, well, he's here, so.
I know, so
we
we're
have to-
telling them, we're gonna take no action.
So you're all set.
Okay.
we would
But,
ask,
you know-
we would ask you to keep an eye
Yes.
on the area back there, if you see something going wrong.
Well, the one thing I do ask is, you know, I was brought here, I'm leaving my job to come here, and, I believe you say you're gonna have Justina go back out there. I would go look around that dumpster that they claiming I think this whole thing stems from that September where that big weather dropped the tree. So I think they're just looking for someone to blame for it, or a neighbor that just have too much time on their hands. So I would just ask her to look around that dumpster that's directly right there, less than 8 foot from that stream, to see all the debris that's around the area. People drinking the little liquor bottles and all those different things, empty bottles, they're all right there.
Yeah.
They all there, and I have videos of that there. So I would ask her to start there, because I don't want to have us in a violation, or a violation on record saying, oh, we was involved in something like this, where we were clearly trying to get a tree that's fallen over our fence away, and we hauled it away. So it's not like we have evidence of us leaving the tree branches or the trunks there. Everything was hauled away. So I just don't understand why wasting you folks' time and my time to be here, because someone decided to take a cell phone and just take pictures
Well, that's gonna
without
be
any of
between-
those
that's gonna
evidence.
be between you and the condo association.
So you're all set with us?
So we're all
Yes.
set, we're out the loop.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys don't mind, I would ask the administrator to send a letter to Mr. LaFleur, citing this and saying as much, that you
Yeah.
are not obligated.
I planned on
agree,
it.
I agree.
Yep.
And just let him have that, because,
Yep.
you know, not that this isn't alarming, because it is, but the letter hopefully gives you a little more comfort. But the reality is that the condo association might knock on your door, come over and ask you some questions. Just be aware of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next one is gonna be 242-1875, 101 Colonial Ave.
Where are we?
Skipped over the
It's almost on the,
hand road request to continue.
Oh, 101, okay, gotcha.
We have some requests to continue.
Alrighty.
Great.
I have updated copies of the map, if you guys want paper copies. I know you probably have digital copies, but I have them printed if you'd like.
Do you have an updated copy for the record?
I do, but I'll take that,
Yeah, for the record file, we appreciate
because
those.
it's probably
It's the same.
true to scale, but more so than what I had. Excellent, thank you. Alrighty. So the commission will call this project involves installation of geothermal wells and to replace the current energy source. The wells will be 84 feet from the BVW, and the trenching for connection to the house will be about 46 feet from the wetland. And all of these features will be in the existing lawn. The depth of the well is approximately 300 feet. At the last hearing, the commission asked for additional information and plan changes. You had asked for one comprehensive erosion control line to encompass the entirety of the work, and that was provided on this plan sheet. So that's the purple line right there. Asked that the existing utilities be labeled as existing. That was done. Let's see, and then added a location for a dewatering area, which is here in the circle, and it's just outside the buffer on a flat area towards the front of the lawn.
Amy, I realize this one actually has the location of the proposed additional stockpile area that I don't think that one has.
Oh.
So I'm just gonna throw these out to you guys. You can take a look.
See these?
You can just pass them down. This is where that is. I'll double check when I get back to the office that you have that copy, because it might have been, I might have just sent you the wrong
You say
file
look
version.
yourself?
I'm okay. I've looked at it enough. And it's the second page for folks getting the unfolded one.
Proposed additional stockpile area, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, my apologies.
I got
think
you. Okay.
Sent you the
All
wrong
right, no, that's fine.
version.
All right, I got it.
They're stapled together, you get 2 pages. See? Over here. There's a set.
Okay.
There's a set going that way.
Mine's the one.
Looks like the same. No, one site plan, one's erosion control.
You get another
Just the
one there.
barrier.
Yeah, and the reason why I provided that first page again is I updated the utilities to say existing utilities rather than electrical, so there's no confusion about us putting in electrical or plumbing.
So those were the issues that came up the last meeting, and they're addressed on the plan. I do have a draft decision ready for you guys tonight, so I think you could probably close and issue.
Joe, any questions?
No questions.
No?
No questions.
I'd just like to say that you made an excellent presentation at the last meeting.
I've done a couple of these, and I would have to say the first few NOIs I did were not as neat as this one, so thank you for your help, I appreciate it, and Amy was a great resource.
Thank you. Sean,
No questions.
motion?
Move that we close and issue in 21 days.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye?
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for coming, thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Yep.
Next one is 242 1880 Boston Street, which now has an address.
Yep. It's 531.
I don't think you read, did you read the continuance for Ann Road at the beginning of the meeting? I don't think so.
What?
The request to continue for Ann Road? I don't think we did that early.
I thought we did, okay.
No, we did.
All right.
have.
242
No, we haven't.
1878, request, Ann Road, request to continue.
So
to,
moved.
January 10th.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That's unanimous.
We have two
Okay,
more.
so now back to 242.
These requests for continuances that get into the record are ones that the applicant have filled out the form requesting the continuance, correct?
Yeah.
So we're
They-
acting on their request, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Okay. All righty, so Commission will recall that this is a vacant piece of property slated for a new single-family house, septic system, and associated grading and appurtenances. At the last hearing, the commission asked for the following information: a proper address, we have that now, it's 531 Boston. Soft solution drainage management, swale, rain garden, to manage drainage so that we avoid directing it to neighbors. Erosion controls have been extended along the frontage of Boston Street, and erosion control spec calls for a 12-inch mulch sock backed by silt fence as requested. So I'm going to let the project engineer talk about the drainage options and what they came up with. So, Tom, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you, Amy. So Tom Schomburg of Civil Design Consultants. I think it should also be noted that the building footprint has been revised. It's slightly smaller, and it's also located further from the wetlands across Boston
That's
Street.
right, yeah.
As far as the drainage goes, we are providing a swale now along the northern property lines. If you're looking at the plan, it's on the right. Based on the existing topography, it isn't possible to run a swale from that kind of eastern corner along Boston Street all the way to the rear of the property. There's an existing ridge line running through the property with an approximate 4 to 5 feet of elevation difference. So this swale has a high point approximately 100 feet from Boston Street, and along that high point either directs stormwater either towards the rear of the property or towards the existing country drainage along Boston Street. There's also some potential discussion about a rain garden. We looked at this, and just based on the site topography and groundwater, we believe that a rain garden would not be able to be sized to provide any meaningful storm mitigation. But if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Joe?
No, that's exactly the issue that we had raised at the last meeting, and I appreciate, the thought that went into it, with the abutters concerned as well. And dividing that up at the ridge line and sending most of it to the back, most of the, the septic area into the east of that, to the rear of the lot makes a lot of sense. It didn't need to be a pipe, and it didn't need to necessarily go from all the way to the front to the back, unless it was possible. So I think what's coming to the front is probably a similar contributory
It
area
is,
to what
yeah.
always did.
It's actually, it's slightly less than the existing area.
Okay. The septic system, that's an elevated system, and again, I know that it's not before us, but is there a cutoff wall? Is there any concern with breakout adjacent to that swale that we've just now asked you to put in?
There isn't, no.
There isn't?
It was recently approved. I believe the letter from the Board of Health is in the portal. It was approved by the Board of Health review. I believe it's Mill River Consulting.
So there's no concern for any lateral breakout into the swale that's now, and again, it's not a deep swale, you're really just breaking the grade to move that water to the back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm all set.
Are you showing erosion control? I'm just not seeing a label for erosion control, but it,
The label is in the, if you're looking at the page, it is
Line
to
and an
the back
X.
on the left.
A line with an X, yes.
Yeah.
so it goes all the way around the site?
Except for the western property line, because that's uphill.
Okay. All set.
I have no questions.
The only question I have is stockpile area and construction access.
Yeah. So maybe you can speak to that? Construction access route and where you might stockpile materials?
Okay. So construction access would likely be either where the proposed driveway is or slightly further up Boston Street, away from the wetlands. And as far as stockpiling materials, most likely either around where the dwelling will be or slightly off to the side in the up gradient portion of the site.
Well, we like to have it on the plan beforehand.
Okay.
I don't
We,
want to
we can condition that,
we can condition that.
Okay.
yeah.
So what we're going to do in the pre-construction, we're going to have to designate the construction access and the stockpile areas. And we will be approved by the administrator before
Okay.
anything to begin.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And aside from that, everything else looks good. The grading looks good. I'm all set.
No question?
Yes.
So,
You got any questions?
Brad, you have any questions?
Oh,
No, no questions.
I do have a follow-up, I'm sorry. I did ask at the last hearing, but I don't want to remember the answer, or if we even knew the answer. Where there is grading to the front, disturbance of area and, lack of stabilization, it moves to the roadway shoulder, then the street, and then the wetlands on the opposite side. Did we ever verify that there is no culverted connection? Do we need to protect that grading in the front, across the front, with some sort of a fabric?
So at least on our property, we didn't observe any culvert up to the property line. And then from our property, there will be a silt fence.
So, this is the follow-up to what Jack had mentioned, the erosion control is from the corner of the property at the roadway, not the roadway physical, but the property corner along the roadway frontage, down that whole sideline, across the back to the other stone wall, and that's it. It doesn't, I'm kind of concerned with wrapping along the front where we do have a lot of filling and disturbance work up there. And until it's stabilized, wouldn't that be vulnerable to get off the shoulder and across the street and into the adjacent wetland?
Sorry, so we have the erosion control. So if you're looking at Boston Street, so it's going to start at that corner stone wall, go along Boston Street. Once it hits the property corner, it'll run along the property line to the side of the provided swale, where it'll then wrap around the back of the property.
I wasn't even, I see that now, but I wasn't.
It blends in
I
and
wasn't
out.
used to looking for
Yeah.
erosion control on the town property, which is what it is.
Yep.
Oh, within the right-of-way.
Well, within the right of way, it's not confined in the property.
It's-
So I think we
it's-
don't want it out there, we want it behind the stone wall.
But,
Not gonna
but
check
they're
it.
grading
What we
to
want
the
is-
street.
I don't know. Do we give them permission to grade the town street? Do we know that's even allowed? You can't give them permission to grade the town.
I didn't even
Shoulder?
really think of that.
I'm normally not allowed to do that.
What?
I'm normally not allowed to do that.
Not normally allowed, but I think if we get a letter from the town engineer and the town director of public works that grants that permission as an improvement to drainage, then we can consider it, but
Would we need that as a pre-construction, and if they can't get it, they'd have
we
to
need,
come back?
no, we need that, know that now. It's gonna affect the design. I see what they're doing, it's certainly gonna move water, and it needs to be stabilized, and now I see the siltation control out there makes sense given what they're proposing, but, you know, we would no sooner give them permission to grade the neighbor's property in order to make it work. It's the same thing, we're the neighbor, the street.
Okay,
So, yeah, we need something from the town that says that's allowed, and that they, you know, advocate for it and will allow it.
As an alternative, if that permission is not granted, the erosion control would move back, as you suggested, Joe, to
But the transitional grades won't work anymore. You would not, you would be literally mounting up that against the wall. And how much of those grade changes? How could you do that grading with the wall, and that's an ancient wall that's protected? You can't take
So
that
this-
wall out.
The stone wall, the property line, then?
Yeah. How do you grade that without disturbing the wall, and you can't disturb the wall?
you can't.
Okay.
You get some questions to answer.
All right.
Yeah, that wall is as much the town's as it is the property owners. And typically, when it's along the right of way, it is the town's wall. You can't grade that with that wall there. So you get some questions to ask of, you know, run this by Mr. Borghese, if you will. I'm asking you, our staff is busy. Because right now, I'd have to say, we can't let you do any of that. Sorry to throw that at the end.
That's worth throwing.
I'm also curious how stormwater is gonna get from one side of their driveway to the other. It looks like the road's coming down a considerable way this way. We can see we got country drainage.
Yeah, so there's going to be, it's going to be a gutter line along the edge of the driveway, between the driveway and Boston Street.
Looks like it's right on the edge of lane there. Judging by the contour on the driveway.
So can this not close tonight?
So, I'm not sure what you mean.
I'm just how stormwater is getting from this side of the driveway
Oh,
to this
I see
side.
what
Because this
you're
road's
saying.
coming down this way.
I get it.
So it's just gonna pop here.
I
so-
gotcha. Yeah, okay. Did everyone catch that? Okay.
Rich, we need to continue this.
Do you catch it?
Yeah.
I move that we
You know
continue.
what
No,
it
I,
means?
sorry, but
I move that we continue.
You moved it already.
Second.
No, actually, we already had did we have a motion, or we just went around the table and it came back to me?
Oh, we never
We never moved it, yeah, I move that we continue.
We have a motion and a second on this, Jim.
so this driveway is lower than this 178 here. This is 177, this is likely 177.
Good catch, Joe. That
So
was
it's going across.
very important.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I'm embarrassed I didn't catch the
So-
question.
This needs to continue either 2 weeks or 4 weeks. It's up to you. What's your
The
request?
driveway here.
But I don't think you can make the revisions tonight that need to be
It
made
was graded because
to
of the
close.
swale. We
Okay.
just had the swale.
Let's do 2 weeks.
None of that was
2 weeks?
done.
2 weeks.
Applicant requests 2 weeks, Mr.
It's
Jim.
gonna
Right, so
push
you
it
know what-
right
what they're
towards the
willing
edge
to
of the
follow.
roadway.
Yep, so it'll be
That's the low point.
confirming the grading for the wall, and the erosion control in the right-of-way, as well as the construction access and stockpile.
Very good, yep.
Okay.
So we have a motion.
And a second.
Yeah, that's right, we had an abutter for the last meeting, is he here? See abutters? No? Okay, no abutters.
There are no abutters, Mr. Chair.
So we have a motion and a second.
Okay, January
All
10th.
those in favor say aye.
What's the, filing deadline.
Amy, we just made a motion to continue. The applicant's agreed to it, but can you make sure he signs that form requesting the continuance
Yes.
this evening?
Yes.
I want to get that on the record, that, you know, that's their request for continuance.
So all those,
Are there any abutters?
No.
we already did that.
Okay, just want
None,
to make sure.
none
All
answered.
those, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's
Okay.
unanimous. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
January 10th.
On the next
Okay,
page.
look at that.
242-1869, request to continue to February 14th.
So moved.
Oh, I'll get it to
All
you.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's
Thank you.
unanimous. Next one is 242-1876, request to continue to January 24th.
So moved.
Second?
Are we still awaiting our consultant's third-party review? Why is the airport continuing again?
We're waiting for a check from Lawrence to fund the third-party peer review.
Okay, so we've selected
Yep,
the consultant. We're
Yep.
just waiting for them to be hired.
we're waiting for money to sign the contract.
I will entertain one more continuance, but after that, we're going to have to take the gloves off.
Right. Right. Just one more question with the airport. What are they doing with the glass pile? They done anything?
No.
So the.
No, we ordered them to come back with the revised plan and amend the order, but
I recommend, Mr. Chairman,
that's not on the docket.
I recommend we do a site visit. Anybody that can, to go over there and take a look at it.
Okay.
You're asking out of pure curiosity because you're recused, correct?
Yes.
Because it's a there's a growing list of projects in town that are not following through, and this is one of them. So let's go over and take a look at it.
Yeah.
This is
And,
my axe to grind lately, is trying to clean up all old enforcement orders. They're kind of like just,
Lingering.
they're out there.
So, we're
So
up to,
so if one comes to mind, I think of it, and that's why I bring
all
it
right,
up.
so,
Okay, so good. Next one.
Did you guys vote on continuing the Lawrence Airport?
Yes.
Brooke? You did?
Lawrence has been continued.
Okay, I just didn't hear the vote, that's all.
69 and 76 have both been continued.
Yeah. All right, so the last one is 242-1881, 189 Willow Street.
All right, just give me 1 second. Were you here for something in particular?
I'm going to listen to this one, yes.
Okay,
What's that?
he's here for
Here
Willow.
for what?
He's here for
189
Willow.
Oh, he is here for one.
Are you in a butter, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
This one is
I see we have a letter,
yeah, you should read the letter.
an email. I already read all the background information supporting the hearing tonight. I had a ton of questions I was going to ask the applicant and their engineer, but I noticed that he tells us
They're not
at
here.
the very end of the day that he has no intention of coming.
No.
So I guess I'm perplexed by the whole idea that they would file an NOI, they would know that the meeting was tonight, they know they were on the agenda, they selected the date which they would be at this meeting.
They've already filed with the DP.
Doesn't matter, they have a matter before us tonight that they filed.
Right.
We would typically have a whole bunch of questions to ask in order to consider the merits of the project and, you know, do a little back and forth. And he tells us he's not coming? I mean, what if I have a whole bunch of questions to ask? If I don't have information, because they elected him not to be here, I'm compelled to simply say, you didn't give me any information. You failed to show. You refused to come. How the hell can I ask questions? If I don't have information and I don't have answers, my opinion is, it's an incomplete filing. I'd have to deny it. But by their own volition.
It hasn't been opened yet.
Well,
We should read it.
We're opening it now.
We should read it and get it on the record.
We don't have to
properly.
read it.
I don't want to waive the reading. I want to read it and get it on the record.
This was a continuance, wasn't it?
This is not being open for
Oh,
the
no, it
first time.
wasn't. It was not
Open
even-
for the first time. I want to dot every I and cross every T.
Okay, if we can.
Read it aloud.
They withdrew back in October.
We don't have the,
We don't have it.
What,
You've got to, I'll read it.
this is a new notice of intent. They withdrew the old one under
Brand new.
1885.
okay.
Opening
They
tonight.
filed a brand-new notice of intent.
Okay.
DP file number 242-1881.
If you have the, if you have the.
I have the notice.
I'll read it out. Remember, I used to read with my eyes closed.
Yeah,
Very good.
I'd like for you to do that, Sean. Thank you.
I think that for purposes of being complete, we should read it, open it, and then enter into evidence the email that Amy got today. And just not spend the whole night
No.
talking about it.
Pursuant to the authority of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended, and the North Andover Wetlands Protection Bylaw, the North Andover Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, December 13th, 2023, at 7 p.m. in the Board of Selectmen Meeting Room, second floor, located at 120 Main Street, North Andover, Massachusetts, 01845. For the filing of a notice of intent filed by Vincent Grasso to alter land at 189 Willow Street, map 25, lot 167, North Andover, Massachusetts, 01845, for the purpose of construction of a commercial building, parking, utilities, and stormwater management within isolated vegetated wetland and the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland. Copy of the plan and application is on file with Conservation Department, 120 Main Street, North Andover, Mass. Those interested in viewing the application materials should contact the Conservation Department at 978-688-9530. By Louis Napoli, Chairman, NACC.
Thank you.
Properly read and the hearing is open. We are now open, correct?
Hearing is open, and we have an email that was sent to Amy today.
So upon council's direction, I had emailed the applicants and their engineers indicating to them that we will be opening the hearing tonight, asking them if they wanted to continue or withdraw, considering the appeal to DEP. And if not, that we will move forward with the hearing, and if there are abutters or public at the meeting, we are compelled to hear from them. This is their response, that they will not be in attendance at the meeting tonight. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, please read it
Okay.
verbatim. Read it
All right,
verbatim.
so this is from Eric B. Lane of Hayes Engineering, delivered Wednesday, December 13th at 2:42 p.m. regarding 189 Willow. Dear Amy, thank you for reaching out. We will not be in attendance at tonight's meeting of the Conservation Commission. Our position currently is that upon filing of the appeal, jurisdiction of this matter lies with the DEP and not with the Commission. By way of filing a letter with the DEP, even Town Council acknowledges the DEP's current jurisdiction over the matter. At the present, the DEP has not acted either to issue the COC or take other action, and that until DEP acts on the SO superseding order of conditions, there is nothing before the Commission upon which it may hold a public hearing. Please let me know what happens tonight either way when you get a chance. Thank you, Eric B. Lane, PE, Hayes Engineering.
So I want to make sure I get procedure precise. You read a legal advertisement in the notice, and we've opened the public hearing.
Yes.
That legal notice was published in the Eagle Tribune. By whom?
Yes.
Who put it in?
So what happens is that we prepare a draft legal notification.
What?
Nothing, I was just saying that this is all part of the record, right? I mean, we're just
Saying it
declaring
out
this
loud.
out
I just
loud.
wanted, I wanted
just
out
saying
loud
out loud.
clear that they knew that this hearing was tonight.
Yes. their
And
application.
they're the ones who
And
filed it.
we have an abutter present, so clearly the
Yeah.
notice was
The-
published.
Was published by
Yeah,
them.
I mean, their application, the abutter notification in their application stated December 13th, 2023 as the hearing date. We prepared a draft legal advertisement, as we always do. We send it to the Eagle Tribune. They provided a proof. They provided written confirmation that Hayes Engineering received and was in confirmation because they have an account on file with the Eagle Tribune, and it published. So it wouldn't have published if it didn't get paid for.
Correct, so I want to be clear on that, and then you know what the language says, because it has two parallel notices there. Wetlands Protection Act and the local bylaw. We administer the local bylaw. Why are they not here?
They chose not to come. They're telling you why they're not here.
They're talking DEP, they're talking Wetlands Protection Act.
No, but this is,
Well-
my point is, this email, in my opinion, constitutes their understanding of what they're doing.
Okay, so I have one last clarification, is we've opened the hearing, we've done it legally posted, people notified, they're here, we're here, they're not. We have two choices at this point. Conduct the hearing and get information. We tried to do that. Wasn't possible. Continue it, but the applicant has to request that. They're not here to request that. This letter doesn't request that. This letter says, we're not gonna do anything.
Right.
They're gonna say, we're asking you to hold off, you can't hold the hearing until DEP does something. We're not in a wait and hold mode. They have to ask us in writing to do that. They haven't done that.
That's right.
So it leaves us one other choice, act upon the information we have, by their own doing. I'll ask one more time, Mr. Ogren, are you in the audience? Mr. Grasso, are you in the audience?
Non-answer.
Not an answer.
No.
I had a ton of questions to ask. They haven't given me the opportunity to ask those questions, let alone explain and give answers to them. I have enough information, thank you. I'm all set.
All right, so,
Well, we have a member of the public here.
we have an
so
abutter who's present.
Well, yeah,
Acknowledge.
Yeah, let's go through the line. Right,
But we'll
Jack,
go
do you
to
have
the line
any
and we'll get
questions
you.
about the filings, the documents you have in front of you? Because that's all you have to rely on making your decisions here.
This is all I have. I've focused on the procedural stuff, and I have no questions further on that.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to ask any questions to an applicant that's not present.
Okay, I'm befuddled by the whole thing, because I've never seen this in almost 20 years with me, that an applicant can skip the local bylaw just because they don't feel like it, and go to this, appeal to the state, based on what?
I'm confident, we can move on.
Sean?
Yeah, I don't think, I also have questions for the applicant, because the documents here don't speak for themselves. And since I can't ask any questions, I won't.
Brad?
I certainly have some questions about that layout, but no one to ask them to, so I guess I don't have anything right now.
So it leaves us two choices, continue. They haven't requested it, and there's nobody here to do that.
It's not an option.
It's not, so that's no longer an
So,
option.
the option
Okay, but
is
before we
to
do
close-
that,
you-
should we
your
ask
option-
to hear from
We
the
will.
abutter?
That's the only thing we can do today is close.
It's closed,
Right.
because we've opened legally.
Yep.
So it's time to legally close. I move that we close.
Well, we have an.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
but-
sorry. Thank you.
Actually,
So,
No, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say, please. I'd like to hear what, just to,
well, he's.
We're done.
he's
We're
getting-
actually going to
he's
the
getting-
abutters now.
He's
So
getting,
I apologize then,
no, come on up.
would you,
and name and address
have a
for-
seat and,
State your name.
Yeah,
Would
my
you be
name's
kind
Scott
enough
Hager, and my wife and I own the property at 651 Turnpike Street, which abuts the property that Mr. Grasso is proposing to build on. I'm an attorney, and I guess that I like to follow the law and rules and regulations, and I'm a little concerned that Mr. Grasso wasn't here this evening also. I have a lot of questions for him. Is this something that is over now? Is he done? Is this project done? Where are we going?
No, so,
He's not,
But
he, is planning on
I'm
appealing
going
it.
to give Mr. Hadger a copy of the email that we got from them.
Well,
And-
we're gonna give him
Sir,
a-
can I ask you, what
It
is
is
your
public
concern?
record, anybody
I'd
else?
like to, my first concern is that he's not here, and I took the time out of my day to get here, and that's my first concern.
Answering your question, sir, this is the email that we got from them. This is the,
I heard the one, I appreciate that, yep. I mean, what are we gonna do? I mean, this is, I came before the board, I'm here to learn and about how my property's gonna be impacted. I mean, perhaps you guys could enlighten me.
So that's your concern, is how this is going to impact your property, is that correct?
That's one of my concerns. My concern is also that we don't have
I
due
understand-
process
I
going on
understand
right
the procedural
now.
part, but substantively, you're concerned about the effect to your property, and anything else?
I have a few concerns, but again, I want to take care of the, procedurally, I think we should talk about that first. We haven't dealt with that issue.
Sir, this
please.
matter is going to be closed as soon as you're done talking, or somebody else,
I mean-
and a butter is done talking, we're going to end up closing this hearing, and we're going to make a decision.
All right, then, fair enough. I will address my concerns, and thank you very much, sir.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a couple concerns. The first is how the property, this development would impact our existing home on Route 114. And the second would be in land that abuts Vinnie's. And the second one would be an issue of equity and fairness. Our house is located on Turnpike Street. It's been my family for 50 years, my wife's family for 50 years, my family now for 50 years. We have a sump pump that's regularly on that property. It abuts this low-lying land on a couple different occasions when it rains heavily or there's some heavy snow or whatnot. Our basement has flooded. I think that putting this project on this particular parcel of land will be akin to putting a brick on a sponge. You're going to push the water down, the water gets displaced, it has to go somewhere. Where's it going to go? It's going to go into our basement. Our sump pump will be perpetually on. We run the risk of our basement being flooded. Certainly, we run the risk of our land being changed in the back. And ironically, we've been told by the planning board for, as many of you know, I came before the town meeting for decades to try and get our property used commercially. We were told by the planning board we couldn't build on our property because it abutted the conservation land. Now here we are, a guy wants to put a building in the middle of the wetlands. That's sort of tough to digest from an equity point of view, and I hope that you guys wouldn't consider that from that point of view. If he does get permission to do this, I would like to know how I would hold my land, the land in back of my property that is not considered uplands at the moment, how I would have my land, which is exactly the same as Vinnie's, also classified as buildable land. I think that needs to be done. And I think, lastly, if you ever did consider allowing him to build this property, I think that we have an opportunity here in town right now. We have the Route 114 Commercial Corridor project being built. We know that the 3 homes immediately adjacent to Chestnut Green Office Park are being taken by eminent domain. Those 3 properties are going to be built commercially. That leaves a few more houses. My property down the other end of the, where the houses are, and my neighbors, we've been trying to do something commercially for years. I think this represents a great opportunity for the town, this board, the planning board, the DOT, whatever other powers there be, to get together and let's make a plan for this area. If we're going to utilize that land, then let everybody utilize the land equally, and not just this little hodgepodge thing we keep on doing by letting someone fill in the land to build a supermarket, letting the guy across the street fill the land in to build a car wash, and we just keep on getting aggrieved. We need some help from the town, and I am opposed to this singularly getting developed for the reasons I gave. I don't think that anyone in this room would, given the totality of the circumstances, want this being built in the backyard. And I hope that you guys would not allow this to be built, and maybe we could work all together. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr.
How
Hagan.
you heard about the hearing?
I sure, mail,
the news-
yeah, absolutely, in the mail,
newspaper?
yep. You sent the letter in the mail.
You received an abutter notification in the mail
That's exactly correct.
for this hearing.
That's exactly correct.
So, Amy, for the record, there is a waiver request here, correct?
It's 6 and 5.
Okay, hold on.
Amy? Sorry.
I'm sorry. So I'm getting it in the record that this abutter received an abutter notification for this hearing. Not the legal ad, but an actual abutter notification.
Yes.
Okay, which I wasn't sure that was
Was
going
it
to happen.
registered mail? Did you get
I
it?
don't recall, sir. I don't believe it was, actually.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
I don't know, though. I
All right.
apologize for not knowing
No,
exactly.
it's okay.
Yep.
all right. Okay,
So this, there is a waiver request here,
yes, there
correct?
is. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
they're filling isolated vegetated wetland.
Yep.
They are in the 50-foot no-build zone
Yep.
with the building and the parking lot. So, yeah, I mean, it's very similar to the proposal that was before us previously. They had reduced the building by 1,000 square feet, reduced the IVW fill by 1,000 square feet. That reduction took the building outside of the 25-foot no disturb zone where it was before in the previous filing. But, I mean, there's still a lot of activity in the 25, and they're also proposing creation of bordering vegetated wetland within the 25 to make up for the isolated wetland take.
Yeah, I would argue, and I would maintain that a prior filing withdrawn without prejudice at their own request does not equal an alternatives analysis under this filing, comparing it to what they previously did and are
Understood.
now proposing. An alternatives analysis needs to be thorough, comprehensive, and needs to be discussed.
Right.
We asked the applicant to help us discuss and understand this project. He's unable to be here
Right.
and discuss that. I don't think they've met the alternatives analysis for a waiver.
Well, yeah, no, I think that's clearly the case. You know, one alternative is you can't build it there because it's,
Because you can't.
because you can't. I mean, put it over there, make it smaller. There's a lot of other things you can do. And I don't think they've met their alternatives analysis, in my opinion.
And to Attorney Hazard's, well, Mr. Hazard, because you're in the butter, point, you're frustrated coming out on the night, but we're here to do that. We volunteer to do this. And we're frustrated, though we love the work that we do. The reality is, the questions that you raise are the questions that we owe, as a matter of equity, all of butters.
Right.
We flush out all of the issues important to us, important to the abutters. We get answers. We reach a project that's approvable or not approvable.
Right.
You raised very clear questions that we might have asked, we might not have, but since you've asked, we would have asked. There's nobody here to answer them. So I say that, I want to be crystal clear that the abutters' concerns were not met at a public hearing.
No,
at
I
this
appreciate,
public-
I appreciate the abutter stating his concerns, and I take them to heart.
Very good, I'm all set.
And I also want to make sure the commission realizes that the filing is missing the whole discussion and plan set for the actual replication. That's not even there.
So it's not complete in that regard
So it's
as
not
well.
complete.
So the application's not complete.
I mean, that's a big missing piece of
So
information.
legally speaking, from everything that's been presented here, what are our options right now?
Well, we're just going to close. That's
Do we have
all.
another
We're
abutter?
gonna close today.
We do have another abutter.
Oh, we have another abutter.
We do have one more abutter.
Yep.
We have another member of the public.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison.
About enough, do you want to?
Melinda Perone, and I live at 65 Meadowwood Road. So I'm coming from the other side from Mr. Hadgett there. We live in an environmental justice population, that entire triangle that comes between 125 and 114. And so the business park there, that Andover Business Park, is within our environmental justice zone. I think as Mr. Manzi had pointed out before, our neighborhood, the Meadowwood neighborhood, which is on the west side of Mr. Grass's property, is neither a 40B or a
PRD.
PRD.
It's not.
It's neither. It's neither. So it's a beautiful neighborhood, but we have not a huge amount of land. So that, as a result, we walk that industrial park, and you'll notice people from the businesses in the middle of the day, lunch, they'll walk that business park. I've been conversing with Amy and sending her pictures of the abuse of that business park. So as we know, 40 Flagship is a huge abuse of Mr. Osgood's, well, excuse me, of Mr. Grasso, I think it's an uncle, who actually built that area. I believe that that whole area is being abused. If you look on the reporteds, each week I send a reported to the Conservation Commission, or the Conservation Department, of abuses in that area.
It goes to multiple departments.
Okay.
DPW, planning gets it.
So there are abuses in that corner as well. I've pulled out construction material from the side of the road. There's a muffler there this weekend in the stream that dumps into Mosquito Brook, because of course Mosquito Brook runs right through. When I wrote the notice of intent from Mr. Grasso, page 28, describes that the project is located wholly within the 100-foot buffer zone, with portions located within the 25-foot no disturb zone, which I'm assuming is not true anymore, and the 50-foot no build zone. Honoring these zones would render any project on the site unfeasible and result in the proponent's inability to use the property. I've been here for 6 months watching the meetings to understand, and I understand that this committee has a huge responsibility and does it great to protect those areas. And I can't quite understand what that statement means, because you do protect the wetlands. And the next page, page 29, the project will result in the loss of 3,664 square feet local jurisdictional isolated vegetated wetland that has no significance under the North Andover regulations as described above. That also almost sends me to tears, because no significance. We, in our neighborhood, and the people who work in that area, walk by there, drive by there, bicycle by there, every single day. And it is our, because we live in a close neighborhood, it's our nature, basically. I mean, that's nature for us, even if the soil has been stripped from the top. So, whereas Mr. Hadgett says it would be great, that we have the turnpike coming through there, to be able to follow the plan of business that whole triangle is zoned for. I think we're missing the fact that there are some beautiful wetlands in that area, absolutely beautiful wetlands. And Mr. Webster and Mr. Osgood did a beautiful job of creating that business park. But the abuse of those wetlands, it just hurts me. So I look at that land, and I look at how much water is in that land at 189. I don't see any way to allow this proponent to build on that land. My hope is when the 114 improvement project comes through, that people will be able to walk by and see those beautiful wetlands, even across the road where Mosquito Brook runs. It is absolutely, it's just fabulous. It's absolutely beautiful. And I know that 114 makes it difficult for us to see that, but boy, that's our neighborhood. And I want to emphasize that we're an environmental justice population. So we are a very, very, we come from all over in that area, in those neighborhoods. We're not all out here, pounding the pavement, because, there are so many responsibilities that each of us have. So I'm here, you may have wondered why I've been here, but it's for Mosquito Brook and Willow that I'm here for, to defend that, to speak up for that area. So, thank you.
Thank you, Melinda. Thank you.
So there's a lot of heartfelt feeling and opinion in there, but there were also some questions I heard that I can't answer. like the whys
I
and
mean,
the
I'll tell,
hows.
I
and-
can tell you definitely from my site visit, when we inspected the wetland line, that groundwater is very shallow out there. So, I mean, I'm struggling with the stormwater component, and if they're gonna achieve the 2-foot separation and
Yeah.
for their detention basin and all that, so,
These are all the questions that we would have been asking. That would have been the first thing I would ask them. Has any been soil testing been done? Or any
right, so,
well points have been done to see where the water is? That would have been the first question. And the first question would have been 6 inches.
The crazy thing is, they denied themselves the opportunity to provide us the answers to convince us otherwise. There might be, in the long run of debate and back and forth and compromise, an approvable project. But they denied themselves the opportunity by not even showing up. They could have convinced us. They could have convinced me perhaps. And I'm not easily convinced, but I heard nothing.
You want a motion?
Yeah.
I move that we close.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Public hearing is closed.
okay, so we have 21 days to issue a decision. Our next meeting is beyond that 21 days, so we're gonna have to, I mean, either you wanna hash it out tonight, or you wanna schedule a special meeting.
Special meeting.
So that staff can draft a decision, which.
Carefully crafted. Special meeting, we can't do this
Yeah,
tonight.
okay.
I think we're all agreeing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe we get to get together again.
A special meeting for purpose of crafting the decision.
Just the decision.
Yep.
Issue
The decision, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Vote and sign.
That's it.
So
Vote and
you
issue.
could actually start to draft one.
Oh, right, exactly.
And,
Yeah, which I plan to do.
yeah, and then we'll need to
And so
bang
we
it.
need to decide on when we're gonna meet again, before, it can't be on the 21st
It's
day.
gotta, you're right, it's
It
Christmas
can't-
week, so we gotta meet within the next week in order to give you a week to put it out. Right?
Does this
Yeah,
meeting need to
either-
be noticed at all?
No,
Nope, okay.
it does not.
Public hearing is closed.
Yep.
So it's a public meeting, it has to be noticed as a public meeting,
but
not a public
no
hearing.
testimony would be
But not a
taken.
public hearing,
All right, so,
which does give us 2-day requirement to post
So,
it.
so if
48
you
Yeah,
want,
that's not bad.
correct.
if you want to keep it on a Wednesday, which is when we normally meet, there's Wednesday the 20th and Wednesday the 27th.
Right,
If you wanted to keep it on a Wednesday,
27th doesn't,
and we could
does
meet,
give it to us.
we could meet earlier on either of those days if you
It
wanted.
does.
I don't know how early you can get here, but instead of waiting till 7, maybe meet at 6 or 5:30,
Mm-hmm.
whatever everybody can do.
I'd rather meet earlier.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Sure.
I'm suggesting either the 20th or the 27th at, say, 5 PM or 5:30 PM.
I'd suggest the 20th.
Okay? We have one for the 20th.
Now, the
20th.
appeal file DEP is an administrative appeal, which means it's not eligible for executive session, because I was gonna suggest that maybe we go into executive session prior to that meeting. I don't think it's eligible for it. We don't have a legal matter.
right.
Yeah, no reason to.
All right, so can we agree on the 20th?
Yeah.
20th December?
Are there any arrangements that need to be made videography-wise, or?
5 PM,
Well, I
5:30
think-
PM?
I think that,
Either one works for me. It's up to, Sean's really one under pressure coming out of Boston.
5 PM work for you?
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
All right, Amy, December 20th, 5 PM.
okay,
Special meeting, read decision,
okay.
okay?
And I will try to, assume that I would be able to get this room.
There's 2 other conference rooms in this building. We can occupy one of them.
That's true. That's absolutely right.
Just, we have to know what it is, because we have to post it. Actually, you know what? If we post it here, we can put a sign on the door.
There's a conference room there, there's one down the hall.
But when you post the meeting, it's an open meeting, we have to
But do you
say
need to
where
do
it
it by
is.
room versus address? I mean, it's town hall.
Well, we can do it by address,
Yeah,
Yeah, just by address.
And-
You're right.
you know.
We just do it by address.
I'll work with North Andover CAM to
Okay.
at least record it.
Okay,
I'm sure you'll dot those i's and cross those t's
Okay.
first.
all right.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
As you're working on that draft, but a lot of the things, I'm not asking for a verbatim transcription of what we discussed as far as the minutes are concerned, but I think a lot of the things that we discussed, we
Needs-
really want to put in the preamble, right up front.
Absolutely.
I apologize, Mayor. So what happens on the 20th, please?
We're having a
So-
special meeting.
Special
We're
meeting.
gonna deliberate.
We're gonna deliberate, the public meeting's closed.
Okay,
So no new information now can come in, and we're gonna deliberate on what we have.
very good.
But it's still open to the public.
Public, you can still come.
You could
You
sit there,
can.
You just can't speak.
yeah, right, you
No
could sit
more-
there and listen and observe,
No more evidence or testimony,
just like auditing a class in college.
Sure, sure.
just like a
Hey,
jury,
no one can speak about it.
just like a jury deliberating.
That's right, nobody.
It's just,
Not a
exactly,
question.
It just, right,
exactly.
right. And so that's where we'll deliberate on the decision and render a decision.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so December 20th, 5 PM. Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, we should get going on the rest of these.
Wait for you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alrighty,
Look,
so,
Evelyn Wood, speed reading here, please.
Yeah, we got three of
so
them.
we've got,
Two of them, we got knocked off, zero Boston.
thank
Because they
you.
didn't close today.
Oh, that's right.
We have,
Well, 541 Boston. Formerly known as
101
zero.
Colonial and 101 Colonial and 0 Turnpike.
Look along the left, it's the first one on top.
This is the geothermal,
Yeah.
This is pretty straightforward.
so moved.
Well, I have, let's see, what did I do? 2,000 for the bond?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good, 2,000 sounds good.
Amy, just. 31.
I should add that dewatering BMP shall be installed in time for the pre-construction
The
meeting.
watering pit is gonna be installed before construction?
Yes.
Okay. Brad, on applications that require, that we think requires dewatering, some contractors just want to have the material on site. I'm of the opinion that the watering pit should be installed. Because by the time you hit water and you start putting the pit together, I think it's too late. So I insist on that.
Yeah, I like it.
Any questions?
I agree with 61 as written. It's highlighted in green.
Yep.
Going back to condition 22, you've highlighted 2 other dates in green. Are they accurate, or is there
Oh,
a
no,
question
I
with
have to make
those, or-
sure I have the accurate, the most up-to-date whatchamacallits.
Okay,
We got new plans tonight, correct?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I just
okay.
wanted to remind myself to make sure I
Okay.
installed the right date.
Good.
So, actually, the plan, now that I think about it, the plan set shows stockpiling.
Did we get another one?
Maybe in the buffer, so that might be not a
I
very
thought it said
workable
outside the
condition.
buffer. I thought I saw it outside the buffer.
I don't know, let me just look at the plan set.
Like on the, toward the
Oh,
front to the
right.
left.
Yeah, that's right, and she brought the extra sheet up, that's right.
Oh,
This is it right here. So she brought the extra sheet. That's
It is
dated
in the
August
buffer, but
29th.
it's, gradient of the original.
Today's edit on show?
What's that?
Today's
So-
edit on documented is a revision?
No, it doesn't have a readout. Not that I can see.
Well, actually, we did talk about that. Silt fence versus
Oh,
the
no.
mulch
Oh,
sock
on.
guys. We did talk about that at the last hearing. If it's the right silt fence, they said it works better for any escaped flow. Do you recall that? discussion about silt fence being?
Versus sock?
Yes.
Yes, I do remember the discussion.
Okay.
We agreed that trenched and silt fence made more sense here.
Okay, it's gotta be the proper silt fence,
Right,
like.
and it has to be trenched in.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
If they're doing it, if they're doing it in the frost condition,
South Carolina. I didn't even know you made it.
All right, so I think we should revisit 61, because their stockpiling is in the buffer, but it is within the erosion control envelope. It's out of the 50.
so if you remember, they're gonna be loading spoil out to a container.
Yes, which is in the driveway,
So that is the primary stockpile area.
yes.
It is going to be swapped out when it's near full. They're gonna schedule it, a new container will come in, the
Yep.
old one will go out.
Yep,
Theoretically, if properly scheduled, they're never gonna need the emergency stockpile.
yeah,
So the one that's there is just in case, because we asked for it.
right,
But they should never use it. So the one we should be talking about is the container in the driveway. It's in the driveway, right?
yes, it is.
Yeah. So that's the one that is their
That's the
primary.
primary
Right.
capture.
But the other one, as an emergency, should be, that's what Lou's typically gonna say, is that it be installed and ready to go.
Okay.
In the hopes that you don't need it, but if you do, you've got it. ready to
Okay.
go.
All right,
And doesn't that have erosion control in it
But what
anyway?
it does, but what I don't want, what we want to be careful is that we say that it's only for emergency purposes when the primary one has been exhausted.
right.
We don't want them to use it, you know, right from the
understand.
get-go.
Yeah, I
It's
understand.
reserved for the emergency.
There's no more questions, motion?
Move that we approve the orders conditions for 101 Colonial Ave, DEP number 242-1875 as drafted and amended. Mr. Chairman.
Segundo.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. Next one is 242-1859 Zero Turnpike.
You got some reading to do. I'm gonna go to the back.
We read fast.
The big one.
Doing the best I can, Sean, okay? I'm negotiating a hard deal here, all right? But I keep... Okay, the staff are still there. LMK, when you're ready. Salem Street.
Understood, but not for me, thank you.
Salem Street, it's, area for the new special meeting.
I know that.
So is this the one where you guys added a couple things during the meeting tonight?
No,
No, I don't think,
no, we
didn't.
didn't really do much on
For
this
for
one.
Zero Turnpike?
Yeah,
Yeah, this one, we were just waiting for something.
I don't think there was any,
I was thinking of Boston Street that just didn't end up closing.
Right.
You guys were trying to.
yeah, no, this is,
Yeah, because they had
This-
the wall and the town property.
this is the big project, and there was a
And then
water
the Buttermilk
connection
shop must have a
that
lot
they
of
wanted to
confidence
do.
in us. I don't have any questions.
the only one on this one, again, is dewatering 59. That's the only one that's really tricky, and it's good.
What do you guys think of the bond? 10,000 sound good?
What number is the bond, Sean?
Just had it there. Number 39.
39.
Because Middleton's gonna be posting a bond also.
Do we need to say or segregate the bond specific to only the North Andover property?
We
Or not
shouldn't,
the project?
we shouldn't have to say that, but we should.
Yeah. Yeah,
Only the portion of the project within North Andover is subject to a $10,000
Yeah,
bond.
because we have no control of what's
The
going on.
other stuff, we don't want them to seize our bond for the purpose of cleaning up something just
That would be,
barely
a-
over.
that would be a neat trick to,
Yeah, I want to be clear, I want to make sure it's clear.
Yeah, and we don't know, maybe what they approved, we wouldn't have.
So the bond is only for the property, the action being taken in North Andover, Middleton shall have no right, title, or interest in the bond.
Paragraph 39.
Don't try to take our
See
money.
how efficient we were while you were gone?
Yeah, yeah.
You thought we were just fooling around.
We saved the world twice.
There was no talking while you were gone.
Okay.
All right? Middleton cannot, thou shalt not take our
Thou
bond.
shalt not take the
Yeah,
bond.
all right, good.
Okay, got it.
So moved.
You good with the,
Can we go back to condition 41? So a test pit shall be excavated within the footprint, et cetera.
oh,
Okay.
yeah, probably should say,
Results.
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 Yeah, I know.
For what purpose? What evidence are we looking for?
So that was a recommendation of TEC in their peer review that,
So what
test
are we
pit-
looking for?
Dead bodies.
well, make sure soils are right,
Now you're talking.
right?
So to confirm,
Seasonal high groundwater and check soils.
Yeah,
That's what we do test.
yeah.
That used to be a long time ago,
Yeah.
a very questionable area.
Right, right.
I wouldn't want to take that test pit.
I know.
I'd dig it. I'd dig it just because morbidly curious.
How can you connect the seasonal groundwater to,
That'd be somebody.
to the third cylinder on the right side of the engine?
Might be.
You good with 10,000?
I'm good.
Yeah, only because I'm hoping that Middleton's gonna let them post, because I would've went for
I
25.
know, I would have gone for more too.
It's a pretty big project.
Yep.
So it says basin SP5, which is now SWM A6P, does not have a test pit within the footprint. However, the test pit has been provided approximately 60 feet from the basin. Based on the elevation of groundwater and the test total 21-15, and based on the other provided soil logs, TEC does not anticipate any problem with infiltration in this basin. TEC does recommend that a test pit be excavated within the footprint of this basin prior to start of construction.
Just to be clear, Brad has to recuse himself on this one.
That's
I
right.
know, as soon as I saw that upper right-hand corner.
I think he knew that.
He did. So all right, results.
Well, if there's nothing else, I'll offer a motion.
Yeah, right.
I move that we grant the order of condition for 0 Turnpike Street, DEP file number 242-1859 is drafted and amended.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's unanimous, and one,
And for abstention.
And I move that we adjourn.
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.